Hi guys, and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you something called algebraic division, or dividing polynomials. Now, this is a useful concept. Specifically, in this context, I'm going to do a cubic function division, and it's going to help us find some roots. So, I'm going to go through the example and actually show you why I've chosen to do algebraic division. There are a few different ways to do this. I have another example on my channel that shows you how to do it a different way, and this is just an alternative way that you might find easier depending on who you are. It does look a bit scarier, but to me I also see it as I don't know, not too bad, so you might enjoy it too. Okay, so let's have a look. So determine the roots for the cubic function x cubed plus 3x squared take 6x take 8, given that there is a root at x equals 2. Now, the reason why algebraic division is quite useful is that it helps us find some other polynomials that can multiply together with another bracket or another term that can give us something that's a cubic function like this. What I mean by that, I'm going to show you what it looks like in terms of a different form. So this form here is called like a root form of the cubic function. Now, it's just another way I can show a cubic function. However, you can see I've got 3 brackets here, okay? And this is obviously just one long kind of expression here. But this can turn into this eventually at some point, right? Like it'll get there, or it can be manipulated in a way to have those 3 brackets. Now, we use algebraic division to help us find out what those 2 or 3 brackets are. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use that to help us find our brackets, and it's going to help us even more because we want to find the roots of this expression, or of this cubic function. And the roots can be easily identified in a form like this. So in this case, this B, C, and D are going to tell us our roots. So that's why it's really beneficial to change it from this form here, this general form, to root form, so it's very clear and easy to identify what the roots are. Okay, so that's the reason why we want to use algebraic division. Now, again, I've showed you a different way before, and this is just another way to do it. Okay, all right, so let's actually get into it. So what I'm going to do is I am given a piece of information that's important, which is this here. I'm actually given a root, so that tells me I've actually got one of the 3 brackets. Okay, so I can rewrite it like this. Now, remember, it's a minus 2, even though there's a positive 2 here. It's going to be a minus because our form gives it to us in a minus sign. So that's why we leave the minus there. I'm going to just rewrite everything else. Now, this A is going to be 1. And the reason why I know that is because I look at the number that's in front, or the coefficient in front of the x cubed term. So here's my expression here. Now, the coefficient here, there's nothing there, but we know that there's a 1 in front of that. Now, because there's a 1 in front, that's going to be my A, and in this case, this is going to be 1. So this part here is 1, and that means, technically speaking, it's not really that important in the terms of finding a root, because finding the root is mainly inside the brackets anyway. So when you're trying to find a root, just ignore the number in the front, or our dilation factor, or A. In this case, it's not important, but I just wanted to show you where that comes from. All right, so let's now try find out what these 2 other brackets are. Now, I can rewrite this into another form. I can make this into an expression with 3 terms in it. So I can also write, I'm just going to change some letters here. Okay, so this is saying that I can change this form of the 2 brackets. It's like expanded out to form this. Now, I've changed the letters just for simplicity here, so that way we have very clear letters to use. But the idea is that you can expand 2 brackets to make one long expression instead. And we're going to find this term in these 3 terms here. We're going to change it from the 2 brackets to the 3 terms. Okay, now this is equal to this. I'm going to put that in there. So x cubed plus 3x squared takes 6x take 8. All right, so this is my starting point here. My starting point is I'm going to put my root as a bracket here. I'm going to write this ax squared plus bx plus c, and I'm going to find out what that is. And I'm also going to have my long polynomial here. All right, now let's actually do some algebraic division. So we want to find out what this bracket is going to equal to. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do algebraic division now. The way you do that is you're going to put the x minus 2, or your first bracket, in the front. You're going to do a really long division sign. You might have seen this before. And I'm going to go and rewrite whatever's on the right hand side of my equation over here. Okay, so you're writing that first bracket in front of your long division sign, as well as you're writing your expression on the right hand side inside that bracket. Okay, now here's how it works. You're going to find a number that you can multiply x by to give you x cubed. So for example, in this case, x squared times by x will give me x cubed. I'm going to write x squared up here. Now that I've kind of known that, I need to actually write and figure out what the leftover is. It's similar to general long division anyway, when you multiply a number and you find out what it is and find out what remainder it is. We're going to find our remainder. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to multiply x squared by x take 2. So we're going to end up with, I'm going to write underneath here, x cubed. So x squared times by x gives me x cubed. Now x squared times by negative 2 is negative 2x squared. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, oops, I have too much writing on there. I'm going to take them away because I want to cancel this out. This is going to disappear. That's our idea. We want to divide it so we can get rid of the terms, and we're going to actually figure out how to simplify it down. So we're going to do 3x squared take negative 2x squared. So that two negatives become a positive, so it becomes a plus. So 3x, so this now becomes a plus. So 3x squared plus 2x squared is 5x squared. Okay, so this is our remainder almost. And similar to a regular long division, we're going to bring these down. So I'm going to have 6 minus 6x take 8. All right. Now we're going to figure out what number do we need to multiply x by to give us 5x squared. Now, x times by 5x here will give us 5x squared. So I'm going to write plus 5x. Now we're going to figure out what our remainder is. So I'm going to change my colors now to help you out. So 5x times by x minus 2 is going to give me, so I'm going to have 5x squared take 10x, because 5x times by negative 2 is negative 10x. I'm going to take it away so that way these can cancel out. Again, I'm going to have negative 6x take negative 10. Now the take negative becomes a positive. It's because the two negatives make a positive. Negative 6 plus 10x gives me 4x. I'm going to bring whatever's left out over here down. Take 8. Now I'm going to be like, well, what number times by x gives me 4x? Well, 4 times x gives me 4x. I'm going to write plus 4. So I'm going to write 4x here. Now to find out what my remainder is, I'm going to go, well, 4 times by x take 2 is getting very blurry now, is 4x. And now 4 times by negative 2 is negative 8. Take it away, that disappears. Now negative 8 take negative 8 becomes a positive, becomes a 0. You know you've done it right because it can divide evenly if you end up with a 0 here. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so if we end up with a 0 at the end, you know you've kind of divided it perfectly. It goes perfectly into, so x take 2 can divide perfectly into x cubed plus 3x squared take 6x take 8. So that means my number up here, oops, is going to be the same for this. Okay, so we've just now figured out what's going to be that other bracket here. So let's rewrite it. So I'm going to have x take 2. So therefore x take 2, and our new bracket is going to be x squared plus 5x plus 4. Okay, so that's the bracket that we just found, is equal to x cubed plus 3x squared take 6x take 8. Okay, so essentially what we've done is that we've used algebraic division, so this whole process right here, to help us find what that is. Now it looks like a lot. Now it looks like I've done a lot of work, but realistically, the more practice you do for these, like it becomes easier and easier, and it becomes more natural. And so some people do find this a lot easier than the other method that I've showed you in a previous example. All right. So now that you've got this bracket, I'm going to now factorize this to bring it back to those two brackets. Do we remember that root form had 3 sets of brackets in there? We're going to see if I can figure out what those 2 brackets are. Now we're going to factorize. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, factorize. Find 2 numbers that multiply to give me 4, that add up to give me 5. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So that means it's going to be x plus 4, and then 4 plus 1. Okay, now we have just successfully factorized the cubic function so that now it's in root form. And now that it's in root form, I can figure out what my roots are. So my roots are at 2, 0. Yeah. My other root is at negative 4, because remember that this is the same as x take negative 4, because we want it to be that negative in there. So this is actually negative 4, 0. And we've got negative 1, 0. So let's double check and see what we've done so far as a recap. So determine the roots for the cubic function, and you're given 1 root. What you're going to do first is you're going to actually put in that root as one of your brackets, and you're going to work out the next 2 here. You're going to show the 2 brackets in as like a trinomial like this, and you're going to actually divide out this long polynomial here and divide it by the x take 2 bracket, or your initial bracket. You're going to divide it out. You can use algebraic division. You're going to find what numbers that can multiply by this first term here by x. They'll give you whatever it is in the bracket here. Okay. Once you've gone through this process, you're going to end up with a bracket. You're going to then factorize the bracket, so that way you have 2 brackets again. So remember, we went from 2 brackets to 1 bracket, now back to 2. And now that it's like this, we've got the same form. So these are the same thing, but in 2 different forms. So one is just in a general form, one's in a root form. And the root form makes it easy for us to identify the roots for the cubic function. So now we can see that the roots are 2, 0, negative 4, 0, and negative 1, 0. I hope this video was helpful for you. For those who've never done algebraic division before, it is a bit of a different kind of thing that you might not have seen before, but it is quite useful. So yeah, hope this video was helpful. Thanks for watching.